This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Friday, May 30th, 2025. I'm Marek Mazurek. The University of Southern Indiana's new president says they may need to raise tuition after the state cut some of its funding in the recently passed budget. Steve Bridges, who began his role as USI's fifth president in April, says 90% of the university's operating budget comes from tuition and state appropriation. In this year's final state budget, which was signed by Governor Mike Braun in early May, higher education institutions received at least a 5% operating reduction, with an additional 5% held in reserve.
Some of the other institutions have bigger sports programs that are bringing in revenue, bigger endowments, more research. So our revenue is not as diverse. So from our perspective, we have to be smart. We're looking at what tuition increases we would have. I know the commission came out with a 0% increase, but for an institution like USI, depending on those two sources, that's tough.
Those are Bridges' comments on IIB's Business and Beyond podcast earlier this week. USI has nearly 10,000 students enrolled. Braun said in a news release that, quote, out of all state entities, our higher education institutions are in the best financial position to weather these cuts. Just months after signing an agreement with an undisclosed developer, Hallador Energy is being forced to scrap plans for a data center in Sullivan County after the other company pulled out of the deal. The Terre Haute-based energy company had plans for a data center in Sullivan County near the Merrim generating station it purchased in 2022. The Merrim station is an electrical generator, which Hallador has been looking to increase in recent years as it transitions away from coal. In January, Hallador signed a non-binding agreement with an unnamed developer to explore a data center that would use power from the Merrim station. That agreement gave the company exclusive negotiating rights with Hallador. But that deal has fallen through and it's unclear why. Representatives from Hallador did not return messages from Inside Indiana Business on Friday. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission last week, Hallador said it is still negotiating with the developer on a non-exclusive basis and that the company is now entertaining talks from other developers. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
Illinois-based Vehicle Service Group has announced plans to invest more than $5 million to add a new automated production line at its facility in Madison. The company, which manufactures vehicle lifting and repair equipment, said the new line will complement its existing manufacturing capabilities and improve lead times and product availability. The investment is expected to create new jobs, though a specific number was not provided. VSG did not respond to multiple requests for information from IIB. VSG said it expects production on the new line to begin in the first quarter of 2026. Evansville-based Shoe Carnival Inc. is expanding a previously announced initiative to convert more of its stores to the Shoe Station banner, the company announced Friday in a quarterly earnings report. The footwear retailer said it now plans to have about 80% of its retail footprint under the Shoe Station banner by March of 2027. Shoe Carnival acquired Alabama-based Shoe Station Inc. in 2021 for $67 million and says that brand has been the industry's fastest-growing retailer for the past 2 years. In 2024, the company piloted the rebrand by closing 10 underperforming Shoe Carnival stores and reopening them as Shoe Station stores. The move resulted in a 10% growth in sales and profit, the company said. Eli Lilly and Company and Purdue Ventures recently participated in a $12 million funding round to support a new remote lab platform designed at significantly decreasing the time it takes to research and develop new medicines. Sacramento, California-based Persist AI announced the funding round last week, as well as the launch of its new Cloud Lab platform, which allows pharmaceutical companies to develop formulations in their lab via the web. Pharmaceutical companies around the world can remotely access the Cloud Lab to test formulations to develop injectables, tablets, capsules, and topical formulas. The funding round was led by California-based Sparrow Ventures, and 9 other funders joined Purdue Ventures and Lilly in supporting. University of Southern Indiana President Stephen Bridges is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.